In this video, I'm going to continue to build on the pen tool and reflections and joining by also showing you how you can cut something apart. You'll see here that I already have an image placed on my artboard. And again, it's placed because you see this blue X. And this time I want to make sure I lock this image. Again, if it's not locked, I could accidentally move it. So I'm going to come up to Object, Lock, Selection. Okay, that way it's not going to move on me. And now I just need to quickly trace one of these leaves. Okay, I'm using my pen tool and I'm going to zoom in close. And because this is curved, I don't want to be too close because I'm going to need room to pull out my handles. So again, for the sake of the video, I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can. Okay, so it may not be perfect. And I'm going to trace one half. And I'll go ahead and trace the other half. Again, the reason why I wanted to make sure I wasn't too close, these handles, sometimes I need a little more room than I think. All right, and then I'll quickly close this. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to come in a little bit closer. And what I want to illustrate here first, of course, is that when you trace, you want to note any imperfections that you have. And so I clearly have several. I've got one right here, and then I've got a big glaring one here that doesn't look very good, and also a little issue here. Okay. Now, I've purposely done some of this. Some of this was not intentional. I thought this was going to look better, but this side I knew wasn't going to look good. Okay, so what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to fix the better side. And so I've got this really nice smooth line all the way up to here where it gets a little ugly. And so I'll try to smooth that out. And I want you to note that obviously I'm picking the side that requires less work. Okay, so this looks pretty good. Still a white arrow to quickly fix. Okay. And then what I want you to note is that, again, if I've got one really good side on a symmetrical object, I can cut this apart. I can actually totally eliminate this and say, whoops, nope, my bad. That's ugly. I don't want to keep trying to fix this side and get it symmetrical. When I know that I can join things, I can take one side, reflect it, and then join it. So let's cut this apart and delete the ugly side. To do that, you're going to note over on your toolbar, I want you to look for your eraser, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down on the right. If you do a long press, you're going to see scissors. Okay, and scissors are what I want you to grab. And scissors work from anchor point to anchor point. So the first thing you need to make sure is that your object is active, and it is because I can see my anchors and my handlebars and things. And I need to determine where I want to cut this in half. And so for me, it's totally here at the top and the bottom. So all I need to do is click on one of the anchors and then click on another. Okay. And again, it's not going to look like I did much, but if I go and grab my black arrow, I can grab one side and pull it away. Okay. And in this instance, I'm going to delete it. So hit my delete key and that's gone. And again, if you're taking the time to reflect and join something, you do want to make sure that the original side is perfect. And this is still not quite where I'd maybe like it. If you remember from the first video, you have, or not the first video, but one of the earlier videos, you can play with your smooth tool here to try to smooth out anchor points that are a little bit jagged. Again, you have your white arrow. And so again, if this were your icon for this project, you should absolutely keep smoothing this until it looks the way you want, okay? But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to declare this perfect. And I'm going to use the same techniques that I used in the previous video. So again, I've selected this side, okay, it's active. I'm going to come up to Object, Transform, I'm going to reflect, okay? And the thing that's going to be a little different here is that this particular shape is sort of cockeyed, it's diagonal, and so I'm not going to get a really perfect horizontal and vertical reflection. I can sort of run through these and see which one is closest to what I want it to be, And in this instance, I think vertical is probably going to work better for me because I just need to reflect it. I'm sorry, not reflect it. I need to rotate it a little bit in this direction to meet at the top point. So I'll go ahead and accept vertical. But one note that you might consider if you think that you're going to use this technique a lot is to perhaps rotate the image first and get it to where the points are at the top and the bottom to simplify your reflections. But again, I'm going to just use a little rotate after I make this copy, so it's not going to be that hard. Okay. So again, this was my original side. I'm using a vertical reflection, so it comes here. Okay. I do not want to hit OK. Remember, I need a copy. I want two sides, so I'm going to hit copy. And again, you'll see what I mean here. I've got to do a little bit of a rotation to get this where I need it. And I'm also going to need to move it a little bit. Okay. So again, you see why reflection is a little more helpful than just simply copying and pasting. Copy and paste is going to require a little more finessing and moving and working. Okay, and that is looking better. Okay, and now you'll see that the anchors at the top and the bottom appear to be overlapping. Okay, you'll see that this line on this side doesn't perfectly follow the tile, but that's okay. Okay, again, remember with these tracings, these are your interpretations of what you see. And you know, if truth be told, the tile itself may not be perfectly symmetrical. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is what I want this to look like, and I'll go ahead and select both sides. Remember, I've got an open area here and an open area here. So I need to do two joins. I'm going to go path and join for my first one, and then path and join again. Okay. And unlike the last video where my anchors were sitting perfectly on top of each other in both places, I only had to do the one join. Remember, I got the window saying I didn't need to do it again. Okay, these are not perfectly on top of the anchor, so I did in fact have to do two joins to make sure that I got a closed path. Okay, so now what I can do is I move that around. You'll see what that looks like. I can test it by rotating my stroke into my fill. I see that, yes, I have a perfectly closed shape here. And again, you know, if I had corrected these notches a little bit more, I would have a perfectly traced icon. So again, you know, these are just techniques to build on your pen tool use. If you're not comfortable with pen tool and you can only get to the point where you've got one really nice side, remember to think about how you might go about cutting this into pieces using, again, your scissors, your reflection tool, and the technique of joining your anchors to close your paths.